Hey y'all, today I'm going to show you how to make the best homemade gluten-free New York style bagels. These have that chewy crust that bagels are known for with a soft, perfect bite on the inside. So let's get into it and I'll show you how to make them. I already have 300 grams of water in the bowl of my stand mixer, and I'm adding to that 8 grams of instant yeast along with 1.5 teaspoons of xanthan gum, which is in addition to what's already in the flour blend, 25 grams of brown sugar, 28 grams of melted butter, 420 grams of my gluten-free bread flour blend, and a teaspoon of salt. And I'll mix this on low just to get it started. This is a stiffer dough than most of my other doughs, so it doesn't require as much of a refrigeration time. And also I do a cold ferment, so the refrigeration time includes that first rise, and there really isn't a second rise. So these bagels can be made in one day. You might notice that I didn't add any psyllium husks. So when somebody tells you that gluten-free breads can only be made and shaped if you use psyllium husks, that is just not true, especially if you're using my bread flour blend. When I first made my very first successful gluten-free baked good, which happens to be my cinnamon rolls, I didn't even know what psyllium husks were at the time, and I was able to, with a well-floured surface, shape them, knead the dough, just fine. So don't let anybody tell you that psyllium husks are absolutely required. Yes, they do help in shaping, and they make it easier and quicker to make homemade breads, gluten-free breads, but sometimes quicker isn't always better. I mean, they kind of develop flavor when they're left to like cold ferment for a long time. So just be aware of that. Okay, I'm going to cover this bowl and put it in the fridge for at least 2 hours. Of course, you can make this a day or three in advance if you want. And like I said, it's only going to get better in flavor. It'll have more of like a fermented sourdough-ish flavor to it the longer it sits in the fridge. Check out this adorable bowl cover. My daughter made me a bunch of these of all different sizes and gave them to me for Christmas. I absolutely love them. She is just incredibly talented, let me tell you. All right, this is nice and cold, and I'll just knead it real quick so it's smooth. I'm going to divide this into 6 kind of large pieces, roughly like 100 to 120 grams each. You can eyeball it. Y'all know that I don't do well with eyeballing. You can also make them smaller if you'd like. You'll just need to reduce the baking time if you do make them smaller. Now this is the way that I prefer to shape them. There are a couple of different ways, but it's really just a matter of personal preference. I find this the easiest way. So I first like pre-shape each of them into a tight ball, just as if I were making like some kind of roll. And then I'll take my finger and flour it if I need to, and poke a hole in the center of the ball, and then just twirl it around. And I never let my finger leave the counter. And as I do that, the hole grows bigger and bigger. And it actually looks like the hole is way too big, but trust me on this, after they're done boiling and baking, it'll close up quite significantly. So I make a point to make it large to begin with. And I like to press down on mine and make them a little flatter just to start off, because they are going to get thicker, puff up significantly. I'll cover these with plastic and I'll set them aside while I preheat my oven to 425F. And I've got some water boiling in a wide pot here, and I'll just add a couple of tablespoons of baking soda, give or take, and about a tablespoon of molasses. You don't need to be precise with either of these, just roughly 2 tablespoons and 1 tablespoon. I'll stir this together real quick and then just carefully drop my bagels in. And I always flip them right side down first. So when I go to flip them again, the top will be on top and I won't have to kind of slide them all around onto the baking sheet and all that. So I'll let these simmer for about 30 seconds on each side, flipping them over to do the other side for another 30 seconds. I know they're super ugly right now, y'all. The crusts are very wrinkly and they look like the worst bagels you've ever seen, but trust in the process, y'all. They'll be beautiful when they're all done baking, going through all the process. I'll take them out and transfer them to a baking sheet lined with greased parchment paper. They do have a tendency to stick, so make sure to grease the parchment, or you could use a silicone baking mat. I'll brush them with an egg wash, which is just 1 egg mixed with about a tablespoon of water and a pinch of salt. And you can top them with whatever you want. I'll leave a few plain, and then I'll cover 2 of them with sesame seeds and 2 with poppy seeds. I'll bake these for 12 to 15 minutes or until they're deep golden brown, puffed, and just gorgeous. See, I told y'all they look amazing, right? Just look at this crisp crust. It's chewy, just like a proper bagel should be. By the way, my son wanted me to ask, do y'all say bagel like I do, or bagel? Like pronouncing the A, long A. I can't even bring my mouth to say it that way. He thinks the way I say it is so wrong, and we've got such a debate going on about who's right. Let me know in the comments. Enjoy.